Hi everyone, this is Christina, finally with the second part for our tribal mesh. I've postponed this tutorial quite a lot for different reasons. On 24th June, Gridfill was broken. With the beta release from that day, it just didn't work like it should, and somehow that bug flew under the radar. It was reported several times, but they didn't fix it even with the release candidate 2. So on 20th July, almost a month after that bug occurred, I was asking in the developer chat, what about that bug? Will you fix that soon? And if not, are you okay with me providing an older beta version where Gridfill worked? Ton was the one answering me. We had quite some nice chats together. He is very accessible, a very nice guy to talk to. And he wrote, no, he can't find the betas either. They got removed from the repository, but he was okay with me providing an older beta. And I mentioned in the chat, hey, I don't have Mac or Linux. I only have the Windows files. A few minutes after that, this really nice guy, Kneecap, I don't know, he's from Italy, so if you're watching this, if I'm getting your name wrong, sorry about that. But that guy was so nice to PM me on the Blender chat and to say, hey, I got an older Linux version. And he provided me with the version from the 23rd June, where Gridfill was still working like it should. So a big thank to you, Kneecap, big shout out, thank you very much. Even if I ended up not using that file, because now we are on the final release 2.8. I had to postpone the videos further because of health issues. I even didn't rehearse this one, to be honest, so you will see me going back and forth, making faults, undo stuff and so on, but yeah, that's life. I will go into the next surgery this week, so I decided I will put this out on this weekend no matter what. So I didn't rehearse it, didn't have time for that. And now, after explaining that, let's get started. If you didn't see my videos about manual remeshing numbers, yeah, you see a part of that tribal design we were doing. I was using that to explain a few things. If you go to my playlists, you will find that mini-series Numbers and Text in Blender for Desk. And here at minute 2, lasts till minute 6, so it's only 4 minutes, I explain how I work on those shapes. My workflow in general I've showed in the video that's quite long. But if you come about steps here in this video where I will not explain step by step what I'm doing, I will give you again the overview. And if you come to a point where you get stuck, please go to this video. You can see this extensive list. Almost every step is in this list with a timestamp, so you can just click there. And the general workflow we will be using is this one. This is the one I used for years to remesh objects in Blender if I had to, with some of the commands now on the quick favorite. Let's start. I will delete the cube. Poor guy, he always gets deleted. And will import the SVG. And here is my tribal folder, and I will use the one I generated in Inkscape and click import. And here it is. Very small. If I deactivate the overlays, you can see that gray blob here. If I scroll in, that becomes clearer. That is our design, which is very, very small here. So I will just frame everything. The select box is activated by default. If not, just press B. That also brings up that select box. You can also press A to select everything or to deselect everything. And with everything selected, I press S and then 20. And here we have it in large. But let's activate my additional keyboard tracker. Here we go. So again, that is activating everything, then S and 20 for the number of scale. And by the way, I should start those two. Okay. What's bothering me a little bit is that dark gray color. You see here this SVG brought in its own collection, which is very good, with a lot of different curve elements, which is also good, so we can choose the resolution for everyone in the way we need. And they all come with such a gray material. I should go to the material tab so we can see that. I don't want to change that material now. I just press A and select everything again. And then I go here in the shading and just click on object. And the object shading by default is set to white. That is something we can work with. And I will go to 7 for the top view. I will not do every of those parts. That would be ridiculous and hours long. But we will have a look at this one here, which I also used in this video, where you can see how I've separated the parts that are quite easily to mesh and then was left with these patches. And we will also have a look at this tiny little thing here, because such tiny elements can really be an issue because of different things. If we scroll in near, you can see, like other shapes here in the whole design, the whole tribal design, you will come across those very sharp corners a lot in this design. But this one, this is really tiny. To do a bevel on this is difficult in itself, and especially with that sharp corner. Well, in real life, nothing is that sharp, not even a razor blade. So I will take out that sharp corner, shorten it up till about here. And yes, this will alter our shape, but in this case, it is something I just do. That's a design decision, because you wouldn't be able to really bevel this surface here on top if you have that sharp corner. That will be difficult anyway. We will see how I tackle such things. In fact, I will not use the bevel modifier on this at all. But let's have a look after this. I don't want to get distracted by those other parts that's surrounding the small piece here. And to just better see on which part I've already worked, I will take them piece by piece, like I work on them, and pull them to another collection. If we go up here, you see I already have this on work collection that is in my default file when I start Blender. This one environment contains the camera and the light. I didn't delete them, just hid them. And now I will take this piece here, right click it, go down here, move to collection. If you don't have one, just click new, give it a name. Here I will pull it into the on work collection, so I just click that. And you see here we have it. Now I can just hide all the rest, and piece by piece they will go from here to here, so we will fill up the on work collection when we work on all the different pieces here. As always, I will show the wireframe. Coming back to a question a viewer had, of course you can use this wireframe mode here in the overlay, but if I show everything else and use this, you see this will be drawn everywhere. I don't want that, so I don't use this wireframe option. I always use this one here, because that is only for the single part I'm working on. And now I will hide this again. In this case, with this small piece, I don't care about the resolution at all. Here it is way too much, but here on those longer parts, the distance between the points, and you see where the lines here end, there will be a point, a vertex. They seem to be quite good, so I just keep it. Or let's pull it down to 10, and I set this one to front, and then I use the convert to mesh command. I have that on my quick favorite menu, which I call with one of my spare mouse buttons. So if you see pop up this here, you know it's time for you. If you have those commands on your quick favorite, which I really recommend, press the Q key. The Q key brings up the quick favorite menus, and I have this here on my quick favorite menu. If you don't, go to object, and here you have convert to, and then you choose mesh from curve. So let's do that. Convert to. I keep the original, not only to have something to go back to in case something happens and I need to restart, but also so I can compare the shape I'm working on with the original. This will alter here, yes, but I try to keep the rest of the shape. But for now, let's hide this. And this is our mesh. You see that by that triangle here, this curve symbol here indicates this is the curve object, but here we have the mesh. And we go to edit mode by using the tab key, and then press A to select everything. We don't have an inner shape that's cutting a hole in this piece, so we can just press F to make one n-gon, and then we can begin to reduce our vertices. In general, I use the limited dissolve for this, which is a great option. In this case, we wouldn't need that at all. What I will do is I will take away this sharp corner here. I will not make new vertices. I just grab those both here and press double G. Double G calls the glide command, so I only can pull them here on the existing edges, and I pull them up further here. And then I grab this one, and now I use the normal G, but be careful, I'm now in the top orthographic. You see here, those are the two axes we see, and we can move the vertices in those two directions, which means I can't pull that in the 3D space. But if you've only taken your 3D view, you see here I'm in the perspective, so it looks like you are in the top view, and you pull this here, change to the normal select, because then I can just click it and drag it around. In this case, I've now pulled that in the 3D space here. So I don't want to do that. Let's undo this. I always do that in one of the views where you have two axes available, which is top, front, right, and so on. So I don't have to worry when I pull this here around. And I pull this kind of here. And our original shape is now, in this regard, very different. But I don't care, because we don't want that sharp corner. Down here it looks quite good, but of course we have way too much vertices here. These segments here are almost straight till here, and this is completely straight, so calling the limited dissolve is kind of wasted time. We are better off when we just click this one and then click those, and then call the dissolve vertices. I have that here on my quick favorites. You find that in the X menu, press X, and then the delete menu comes up. Don't delete those vertices, dissolve them, so they're gone away. What would happen if you delete them? I've showed in the other video where I remeshed the numbers. I will keep this one here. Those two I will delete, or dissolve the vertices, but not with limited dissolve. And yes, that alters our shape, but with the subdivision which rounds that out again, that should be fine. And I will take away all those by clicking and control clicking the next one and dissolve them. So let's compare our vertices on this side. They don't match, we already see that, but I want to know how much of them I have. So here we have 8. And here are 10. Of course, I could take away of those sides. I don't want to do that, because I guess then our shape will lose more of it. I will keep this, and I will just add on this side here the way we need it. And we will do that first. I could do it like we did it in the other video, pull them in manually and move those around. And I will start here by connecting the existing ones. So I press J, and now I've made really a cut in our n-gon. If I undo that, at the moment I have this one n-gon here. As soon as I grab 2 points and connect them with J, I cut in a division. So I have a quad here and the n-gon here. And this here will stay in its place, because this is one of those points that holds the shape when it goes down there. So I will just grab those two and subdivide them. Right click, you find that here, or put it on your quick favorite menu, which I've done. And then I connect those two here with J. This one is almost in the right place. This one with double G, I slide it a bit so it's opposite of that one here, and always select those two and press J. I will do the same here. This one I will put up here. And here we see they are, I would say, out of order. So, but instead of moving them here around, I will just grab those here subdivide them one time and then grab this to this and space them, and that brings those in kind of the right places. And if you're now wondering, whoops, I have selected 3, shouldn't do that. I only need this one and this one. And if you're now wondering why didn't I do the inset first, well, that doesn't really matter. If I select all our faces and the individual option isn't activated, which it isn't by default, that makes no difference. So I'll now in the face mode select all of those n-gons here and press I to do our inset, and you see that looks really kind of funny up here at the end, at that corner. We will have to work manually on that, and I keep this quite small. Just now click. If that would be activated, we would have another result. If I do that, you see that every single face is completely inset. Here with the offset even, that will not help us really much. You see that gets smaller, but we have to work on that manually, which we will do in the next step. We have to do that in the vertex mode. What happened here is we have that overlap. This part here was smaller than this inset thickness. If I pull that further down, very small, like this, you see now this looks alright, but those points keep crossing each other when we have a larger inset, and I want to have it a little bit larger than that. Let's keep it like this. So this is small enough to support the rounding here, and still we have that issue here. So let's go back here, and we have to pull those vertices here. Go to the normal select. When you have the normal select, you can just click one of those vertices and pull them around. You don't have to press G. Please be careful that you are in the top auto, so you only have 2 axes to pull this around. And let's pull this one down. This one belongs to this here. This one belongs to that one. And this one belongs to this one. So let's pull them here. Just like this. Here, going around, we have quads, and if I simulate a control cut with Control R and hover over this, you see this really goes all around. Escape to cancel it. So I do that again with the whole shape here in view. Control R, hover over this, you see that cut goes all around. So that is okay. But when we scroll in closer and have a look at this face here, this one, you will see we have 5 vertices. In general, this is a flat shape. An n-gon, because a face with 5 vertices is an n-gon, isn't really bad at all. But any program we will export this to, or even the renderer, divides that n-gon like that app thinks it should be the right way. But we have no control how that app divides that n-gon. Either go with a triangle or divide this in a way that the app hasn't to decide which way to go. So what we can do in this case, we can decide to take those 2 and merge them. Then we will have a triangle here, but a quad here, even if it is a diamond shape. Or we could decide to cut in here, which I will do like this. This is really small, but in this case that doesn't bother us at all. That won't give us shading issues, not even with the subdivision, because we have a flat surface that isn't bent, so that small triangle here isn't a problem at all. And if we now compare this to our original shape, let's give this another color. Because now those colors get mixed and we can see quite clearly where our shape is off. You see this red here, this goes out of our original shape, and here the original shape is larger, so here it is smaller, here it is larger. But all in all, I would say that isn't that bad at all. and this is only in this place here. So what we can do is we can pull this down a little bit, and we could do a cut down here. We didn't use the knife yet, so let's do that. Knife has the shortcut K. Looks like this. I left click, hold the left mouse button, pull the cursor down, then release it and press enter. And now we have a cut down here, and I can take this vertex here and just pull it out, and this one in a little bit, just like that. There is a little bit difference here, and of course that sharp corner is gone, but otherwise that looks fine. So let's hide this one. In this case here, I will add the solidifier, but I will not apply it now. We will do that later when they are done, so I can transfer just the modifiers, and then I grab those pieces and convert them to a real mesh, so we can then cut in. But I will show you how that goes and undo it then. So I go back to object mode and click on the modifiers wrench here. I will first add the solidifier. This is way too high. I click here with the mouse to scrap, but press the shift key so I get smaller increments here, and I guess we can keep it like that. Still in X-ray mode. I deactivate this, and then I shade this smooth and also activate this icon here under normals, the auto smooth, and I will increase the angle to about 50 degrees. That helps with the shading here. And this side here with this cut in it is now, you could say, mirrored here, so we don't have to care about that. Let's add the subdivision to see how that goes, and I will increase that and take away the wireframe. And if we have a closer look, that doesn't look that bad at all. It is, oh, when something like that happens to you, you scroll in and part of our mesh disappears. Click on this triangle here or press N to bring up the N panel, and then go to view. Here you have the clip start from the camera. Pull that all the way down and the mesh is back. This is too soft in this direction, and that's because we don't have a support loop. But if we look here, that looks quite okay at the front here. So let's add the solidifier, apply it, and then I go to edit mode. We could now do one cut and pull it up here, and the second one and pull it down, but I want to have an equal distance between this and the cut and the upper edge and the cut, so I do it this way. Control R, scroll the mouse wheel till I have two cuts, left click once and then twice. Now they are cut in, and now I press S to scale and Z to restrict it to the Z axis, and then I pull the mouse. That pulls those two subdivisions away from each other, and I keep it like that. And that is the way I go with those really small pieces. I have those rounded corners without having to do a bevel. But like I said, in general, I would not apply that now. I would do all those steps later when I've done the other pieces. That was the first piece. You've learned how to take away those two sharp corners here. We have something like this. And if I go to the top view and activate the original, you see that is now really smaller, just because the subdivision here. And that is something you can test before you apply the solidifier. And here we also have to do additional cut. So let's undo this whole thing till we got our solidifier back. Here it is. It's not too bad here, you see that, but of course we will have to do something about that. So I tap into edit mode again, and we would have to support those edges. The easiest way to do that, Control R, cut in one loop and then press the left mouse button once. Then you can still pull this around, pull that really near the other one and click. And you see this is still off shape, but that is because we don't have support loops from here. When we convert this, this gets better, and of course you always can pull around those here. And now I'm in the perspective, I will not pull them around. I go here and press G, pull them in this direction, and do the same with those two. So that sharpens out that corner more. And here you can also click those one now and pull them a bit here to the side. And the same goes for here. And with a support loop from this part here, this will sharpen this up enough. Sometimes you even have to pull them away again, so you have a more smooth corner, a more smooth rounding. But that goes without bevel. And that was this part here. In the next video we will have a look at this part. Until then, have a great time. Thank you very much for watching, and if you like my contents, please consider subscribing to my channel and liking the video. Bye bye!